your foot starts tapping before you even decide to do it. That is not a coincidence. It is not a habit. It is something far more fundamental. Somewhere inside every piece of music, there is a steady, repeating heartbeat, and your body finds it automatically. You do not have to look for it. You do not have to count anything. You just feel it, and your foot moves. That heartbeat is called the pulse, also known as the beat. The pulse is the steady, even heartbeat underneath every piece of music you have ever heard. It runs from the very first moment of a song to the very last, never stopping, never changing speed. You were not taught to follow it. You already do. Think of the pulse as a metronome ticking away in the background. Tick, 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 tick. Each tick is a beat, and the beats are perfectly evenly spaced. That even spacing is the grid that holds the music together. Without it, every note would be floating with nothing to land on. A melody, a chord, a drum beat, they all exist in time, and the pulse is the ruler that measures that time. Each beat is exactly as long as the one before it. Each beat lands at exactly the right moment. The pulse never rushes and it never drags. It is the most reliable thing in music, and once you can feel it, you can follow any song. Here is what matters most about that grid. The notes playing on top of it can be as busy as you like, or as sparse as you like, but the pulse underneath never changes. Imagine a fast piano melody with lots of quick notes flying past. The pulse does not speed up to keep up with them. It does not speed up when the notes come thick and fast. Now imagine a single long sustained note held for several seconds. The pulse does not slow down when there is a long held note. It does not slow down to wait for the next one. The pulse is unmoved. It just keeps going. The notes are like people dancing on a dance floor. They can spin and jump and move quickly or slowly, but the floor itself never moves. The pulse is the floor. Now listen carefully to those ticks. They are all the same length, but they do not all feel the same weight. Every foot ticks, one of them lands a little heavier than the others. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. You can hear it, and more importantly, you can feel it. That heavier tick is the downbeat. It is the first tick of the group. The downbeat is what makes the music feel like it has a shape, rather than just an endless stream of identical ticks. The group of 4 ticks is called a bar, also known as a measure. 1 bar contains 4 beats, beat 1 is the downbeat, and then beats 2, 3, and 4 follow it. The bar is the basic building block of musical time. Every song you know is built from bars stacked end to end. You will see it everywhere once you know to look for it. Sheet music is divided into bars by vertical lines called bar lines. When musicians count in a song before starting, they count 1 bar, 1, 2, 3, 4. That is exactly 4 beats, and after 4 the music begins. Try it yourself. We're going to count along slowly. 1, 2, 3, 4. Feel how the ONE has a bit more landing, a bit more weight. Beat 1 is where everything wants to begin. Now we go a little faster. 1, 2, 3, 4. The notes are moving more quickly, but the 4-beat pattern is still there underneath. That consistency is the whole point. The pulse is a contract between the music and the listener. The music promises to keep the pulse steady, and in return the listener can relax and move with it. That is where the pleasure of rhythm comes from. Not from complicated patterns, but from a steady foundation that the ear can trust. When a musician says they have good time, it means their pulse is rock solid. It never rushes, it never drags. Everything else they play sits right on top of that grid. The pulse is the skeleton of every song. Melodies, chords, rhythms, they all hang on it. Before you can understand rhythm, or tempo, or how a groove feels, you need this one thing, the steady, even tick that never stops. Everything we cover from here builds on top of what you just learned. Rhythm is about how notes are spread across those beats. Harmony is about which notes sound together on those beats. Form is about how bars group into phrases and phrases group into sections. All of it rests on the pulse. Next, we look at how fast that tick runs, because the speed of the pulse changes everything about how music feels. A slow pulse gives music space and weight. A fast pulse gives it urgency and energy. The same melody can feel completely different at different speeds. That speed has a name: tempo.